certainly does bring back memories. Memories of the great cruise we had aboard NCL's Norwegian Dynasty, which is a 1,200 passenger ship with 750 passengers aboard. And it was our luck and fortune that we spent time with these shipboard companions, Sarah Lee and Howard from Hollywood, Florida, and Karen and Galen from Arlington, Texas, and our table mates, Joe and Anna from Morgan Hill, California, which is just south of where we live in Saratoga, and Mary and Bill from Ontario, Canada. Now, Lois and I want to thank each of you for your part in making our cruise so enjoyable. Now, the itinerary of our 11-day cruise started at Honolulu on the island of Oahu, and then we went to Kona on the Big Island, and then down to Fanning Island, down near the equator, and back up to Hilo on the Big Island again, and then to Maui, Kauai, and back to Honolulu. This shows the geography of the islands as well as where Fanning Island is. And now to the highlights of our trip. Lois and I departed San Francisco on Sunday, November 29th, and arrived in Honolulu around noontime. From there, we rented a car and went down to the north tip of the island of Oahu. It's beautiful down there. There are windsurf beaches, and we stayed here at the Turtle Bay Hilton. This part of the island is the windward coast, and boy, the wind was blowing pretty darn good down there. By the way, the island of Oahu covers approximately 600 square miles. And Oahu means gathering place. And the name is quite apt. In addition to the more than 800,000 residents, nearly 80% of the population of all of the islands combined, 1 million visitors a year land on Oahu. Then, of course, they proceed to other parts of the islands. By the way, on the way back, this is the blowhole, which is about 10 miles from Honolulu. A very rugged place, and the waves, as you can see, were really coming in, rolling in that day. There's a close-up look at the blowhole. And here is some more of the beaches on the windward coast. And from there, we went on into Honolulu and getting ready to go aboard the ship for our cruise. And there it is, tied up at the pier there at the Honolulu Harbor.
Hope you guys have fun.
Oh, we're going to have fun. Okay, we'll see you. Here we are. It's the Aloha Tower there.
This is Anthony.
Yes, and I'm the cabin steward. Welcome on board.
Well, thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you.
Yes, I work out with nice cruise with us.
Thank you.
Well, it's 8 p.m. and it's time that we depart Honolulu for Kona, Hawaii, the Big Island. But right now it's time to go down for dinner in the dining room as we sail out of the Honolulu harbor. And after a short night, we woke up in the morning to look at our cruise news, which said it's Tuesday, and here we are in Kona. Now the ship anchored there at Kona, so we used the tenders to get between the ship and the dock. Now a little bit about island, Hawaii, which is called the Big Island, and it's just that. It's almost twice as large as all the other islands combined. Its dimensions are 93 miles long, 76 miles wide, and 4,000 square miles in area, with 266 miles of coastline. And here we are coming into Kona. Now it's very picturesque. It's set at the foot of a 8,000-foot mountain. And this little town is a tourist-oriented one, combining historic sites tucked away between and behind many shops, bars, and restaurants. This is on the main street of the town. And there's our ship. As you can see, the water there is very clear. Now, this church is the oldest church in Hawaii. It was built in 1835. And the building's stark architectural style reflects the austere influence of the New England missionaries. The church was built by the people of Hawaii from lava stone and koa wood. Now across the street, this is right across the street, and this is the palace, one of only 3 royal palaces in America. And this is a 2-story residence, and it was built of lava, coral, and koa wood in 1938 by the island's governor. And as you can see, this little harbor here was the start of the Ironman Triathlon World Championship. That's where they started from, and that's the pier. By the way, that pier was built in 1918. Hey, well, it's time to go back to ship and take a tour of the bridge.
I'm Sandra from Canada. I'm going to do your bridge tour.
Okay.
God, take a picture.
Yeah, good.
All right, come follow me. Okay, bye. Right behind you, behind the blue curtain, is the radio room. Okay, that's the communication room via ship and ship. We have a little Filipino guy that controls that. We would go through the inside passage there from Vancouver to Alaska, and then we would also maneuver. We'd go right up the side of Glacier, so they would manually have to control it. So we have an oarsman that does that. He's a little Filipino guy, so you can get in there. Okay? I'm going to come around here. Yes. Okay? This is the where they control the stabilizers. Right here.
Correct everything.
And then over here.
Well, after a good overview of the bridge, we were told just to wander around and ask any questions that we wanted to of the crew. There, of course, is the windshield wipers, which helps them in the storms. One of the things that we were all interested in was the stabilizers, since it was pretty rough the night before. Well, we went outside down a deck and we took a look at them, and there they are. It's 8 feet long. And then it was into the craft corner. And there's Lois. She was making ribbon roses. And that's what she made. Then at about 6:45, went out on deck to see the sunset. It was beautiful. And we were just departing, of course, from Kona. There happened to be a little cruise ship that's going by, so let's listen to their music. Well, as the sun sets, we head down to our room and get ready to go to the dining room where we're going to have dinner with Anna and Joe. After dinner, it's a show, and then it's off to bed. Well, here it is now. It's the next morning, Wednesday, and this is a day at sea as we head on down to Fanning Island. A number of things to do. The climax of the day should be the captain's welcome party, and we plan to attend it, and we plan to tape it for you. As we go out on the deck in the morning, the winds are pretty strong, and the waves are getting higher and it's getting rougher. You can see that evening there wasn't much of a sunset. Clouds covered it, but now we're off to the captain's welcome party. So here we go.
Larson.
Thank you very much, Richard, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Norwegian Cruise Line and the entire crew on board the MS Norwegian Dynasty, I want to wish you welcome on board this magnificent ship. Not the biggest, but absolutely the greatest. The fact that you picked her for your cruise and the fact that you picked this nice itinerary shows to all of us that you are very quality conscientious people, and we like to deal with that, and we promise you that we will do our utmost to meet your expectations. I know one expectation when you're on a cruise is what is the weather going to be like. I can assure you that we are cruising in some of the most steady weather in the world. The trade winds. The trade winds are constant winds of 15 to 25 knots that blows from the northeast on the northern hemisphere and the southeast on the southern hemisphere from approximately 30 degrees latitudes to the equator. They have been blowing for millions and millions of years, so they have also created a good system of waves and swell. That's not something we can do much about. That's what it is like down here. But even though the trade winds right now may be a little bit of a pain in the neck, don't forget that they are the ones that makes Hawaii a paradise. So nature gives and nature takes. The trade winds, they meet each other, they collide in what we call the doldrums. It's an area of relatively calm, but also more rainy weather than we have experienced. We think we will be in the doldrums tomorrow sometime. But I can't promise you to stop the rocking. I can assure you that Monday morning when we dock at Hilo, we will have a steady ship for about 12 hours. After all, it's not that bad. On Fanning Island, we will be in the shelter of the island, so we expect windy but calm weather, calm motion-wise. On Fanning Island, unfortunately, we can't anchor as we did in Kona, so we will have to drift, and therefore the tendering operation will be a lot slower than what you experienced. So don't be in a hurry the day after tomorrow. If you love to sleep late that day as well. You'll all make it ashore, but not as fast as in Kona, sorry. Okay, back to the Norwegian dynasty. We have 334 crew members on board right now. They are coming from approximately 40 different nations, so you can imagine that we have a lot of different languages spoken on board, and I'm sure that the very few problems you have had so far have more than anything else been due to language barriers. And language barriers in North America to a Scandinavian is a kind of a shame, because as you all know, America wasn't discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492-93. It was actually discovered about 500 years earlier by Scandinavian Vikings. They came over here, a handful of men and a couple of ships, and they settled on the North American continent. But as Scandinavians usually do, or always do when they are abroad, they misbehaved. So after a while the Indians had it and they sent them all back home. But imagine if they had stayed, then you would have been speaking Scandinavian today, and at least I wouldn't have had problems with my language. Oh, okay, I don't think it's all reality. Well, all 334 crew members are nice and they all deserve to be introduced to you, but since we don't have all night, the dinner is about to be served after this, I'll restrict myself to call up only the senior officers and department heads. And Maestro, if you will... Here they are, directly from the Royal Ballet. I was actually getting a little nervous as they were walking up. I thought I counted one too many, but don't worry, he is still up there running the ship. Well, beginning in the middle to your left is our chief engineer. He is in charge of all technical operations and installations on board. He's from Norway and his name is Geirsetter. Geir is running a very big and very complicated department. He has a lot of assistants. His immediate assistant is our chief engineer junior, one of the hardest working men on board. He is from Norway and his name is Stian Pedersen. The only lady in line is our onboard accountant, our chief purser. She is in charge of all the money, inclusive our payroll. She is also in charge of the front desk. She is a very, very nice and very patient lady, and it reflects on her staff. For instance, 2 cruises ago, there was a passenger who called the front desk and said, "Please, can you send somebody to help me out of my cabin?" "Oh yes," the girl said, "but actually, what is your problem?" "Well, you see, my cabin has only 2 doors. One is to the toilet, the other one has a sign on saying, 'Do not disturb.'" They handled that. The chief purser is American. She lives in Fort Lauderdale, and her name is Marianne Löwenstein. The next gentleman in line is our beach boy. I'm sure you will only meet him up on deck or on the beach having a nice time. I don't hope too many of you will meet him in his professional capacity. He is one of our few crew members from south of the equator. He's from South Africa. He's the ship's doctor and his name is James Torrance. The next gentleman you have already met, I'm sure. He was the one who arranged a table for two by the window for all of you in the dining room. He is our maitre d'. He is from Morocco originally, now living in Canada, and his name is Mohammed Asdik. And last on that side is a gentleman you have already met too many times. You have heard him. He is our cruise director. His name is Richard Lawrence. On the other side of the middle is my second in command, my immediate assistant, the ship's staff captain. He is taking care of all the boring things that I don't want to touch, and that's quite a lot. In spite of his name, he is from Norway, and his name is Paul Leroux. Next in line is a real passenger ship veteran. He has been at sea for over 40 years. He started his career on the North Atlantic on the old Queens. He has been with NCL for 28, it must be 29, because we have said 28 for a long time. He is from England. He is our hotel director, and his name is Les Riley. Les has far the biggest department. He also has far the biggest helpers. A very important assistant to him is our corporate housewife, our chief steward. He is in charge of all housekeeping and the bell box, and etc., etc. He is from Barbados, and his name is Hal Brooms. Any good housewife knows how to cook, but Hal left home before he learned that, but don't be sorry, because we have an excellent chef. He is the one you can blame for the 6 to 8 pounds you are gonna gain during this cruise. Later on he will give you his address and his telephone number, so you have a place to call and complain. I can say so much that his country code is 44, so where is he from? He is from England, and his name is Paul Bendier. To make Paul's food go down a little bit easier, it sometimes helps to have a glass of wine with the dinner, or before dinner drink and after dinner drink. We have a big bar department to take care of that. In charge of that is our bar manager. He is a double Colombian. He was born and raised in Colombia. He now lives in British Columbia, and his name is Orlando Pastran. The next gentleman is getting very, very popular among you as the cruise goes on. He is sitting back in the casino waiting to give you back all the money he took from the people in the last cruise. He's from Scotland, and his name is Hugh Robertson. And last but not least is our onboard wheeler and dealer. He can give you a good bargain on everything from an alarm clock with one of the local vendors to a cruise around the world. He is our port and cruise consultant. He's from America, and his name is Mike Pinter. Well, as I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, here they are. If you have any problems, any complaints during your cruise, go to one of the people behind me. If on the other hand you have something nice to say, then I will also be around for 9 or 10 days. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your dinner is just about ready to be served. Have a good evening and have a good cruise. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a nice round of applause. Captain Marshall and the senior officers. Oh, as the captain indicated, our chef has created a delicious Captain's Gala dinner for you this evening, so we invite you to the dining room, and then after dinner we invite you back here to the Rhapsody Lounge. We have a wonderful show for you tonight starring our singing sensation, Jean Marie, and your showtime is at 10:15. So again, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your dinner. We'll look forward to seeing you back at showtime. Thank you very much for coming to the Captain's Cocktail Party.
Try it. Now, what do you have this evening?
Too much.
Oh, you have the Weight Watchers?
The Weight Watch, yeah, we're on
Yeah,
diet.
boy, we can watch your weight.
Here.
You say you're on a diet?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Overdo it. So.
Okay.
Not till we get back.
Now, let's see. Here's Lois. Look at that, Lois. Well, here's what I have. Goodness gracious.
Well, it's Thursday, a day at sea. And of course, we're heading to Fanning Island. And today we'll have an information talk on the island. We'll also go to the comedy show and to the 50 and 60 sock hop. But here it is, out there on the pool deck. Although it's overcast, it's warm out there. And as you can see, the seas are rough. But this gentleman is really enjoying it. Our swells are somewhere around 15 feet. And hey, here's Lois. She's just relaxing. Now take a look at those swimmers bobbing up and down. They're really having a blast. So often they seem to drain the pool at times like this. Well, let's go over and listen to what they have to say, shall we? Smile.
Come on here, it's fun! Put the camera down, come here!
All right.
Well, I didn't succumb to their invitation. I stayed dry. But later on, as you can see, if you were out on deck, you were really wet. It was raining and the seas were really rough. It was a rough night aboard. But we woke up the next morning to a bright day, and here we were at Fanning Island. And what they told us was, you better make sure that you go before you go, because there's no place to go there. As you can see, there were some other activities planned when we got back after our visit to the island. And by the way, the island consists of a classic circular coral atoll ringed with palm trees. And the ship would hover off English Harbor, and we would be going in by tenders to the English Harbor. Well, let's go out on deck and take a look at the Fanning Island. Hey, here's Sarah Lee and Howard.
Here they are. It's a beautiful morning, and they're all ready to go ashore. And you have a big day planned ashore?
Oh, we sure do. We're going to see all the sights.
And all the coconuts that they have.
Okay. Well, we'll see you over there.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for sailing with us, and we'll see you next week here at Fanning Island. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, here we are. We're on the tender, heading over to Fanning Island. Now, the ship was just moored off the island. It was so deep there that it couldn't drop its anchor. You can see the swirling water around the bow of the ship. The ship had to keep the engines running so that we wouldn't drift onto the coral reef. Now, the island's only harbor is this English harbor that we're going to, and it's actually a natural harbor. The island is administered as part of the Republic of Kiribati. Here we are, just going into the harbor. That's our ship, of course. background. By the way, all these tables and chairs and umbrellas, as well as the pier, was all brought in and built by NCL. Actually, the materials for the pier, the basic decking of the pier was from coconut palm trees that were here. But they built it and brought it in. And we're just approaching the pier now. And I think you'll be able to hear some music and singing. They're singing in Karabat language.
Hi.
Looks very pretty.
Thank you very much.
Now here goes some of the school children who are going to be going over to our ship, and NCL is going to show them around the ship and actually have lunch for them. In the schools, they do teach them English. By the way, this is a snorkeling little boat where you could go out and snorkel. There it goes. It's run by an American. There's one of the houses on the island, one of the real large ones. Hey, here's Lois out testing the water there. Nice and warm. Beautiful beach area. Another one of their homes. And look at this little devil here, this crab.
Right. Gee, that's something came out of that hole.
Yeah.
There was a lot of holes like this. You have to watch yourself. A lot of crabs. We tried to get this one to do something for us.
Got to put a worm on it.
Ah, there he moved. By the way, they said that there are a number of black rats roaming loose on the island. We did, of course, see a number of cats, dogs, and pigs, as well as some chicken wandering about. Now, Captain Edmund Fanning of the American ship Betsy discovered the island, which now bears his name. This was, of course, in 1798. Due to frequent droughts and the lack of large crops, the islanders have found it necessary to turn to the sea for their livelihood. Most are outrigger sailors and fishermen. There's an outrigger. A lot of them were there on the island.
Pardon me? Oh, pretty. Thank you.
Well, while the little girl couldn't speak English, she sure knew the meaning of pretty and thank you. Now, we were told that there was a second source of employment for those on the island, and that's copra, which is the dried meat of coconut. They eat it as a food, and it's a source of yellowish oil used in making candles and soap. Now, this is one of their playing fields there. We surmised that because of these gold posts, which were nothing more than coconut palm trees sawed off. How about that?
No, we lost each other. I'm looking all over.
One of the little native boys. By the way, when the ship comes in, everything stops. School stops, and all of the people turn out. Get into the swing of things, don't they? We were told that the missionaries who were there did a wonderful job because today there are 85% Christian. Of that, 45% are Catholic and 40% Protestant. A big hooray for the missionaries.
And you're a teacher here?
Yes, I'm a teacher.
Now, how many students do you have in the school?
This school, I spent more than 3 years teaching here.
Oh.
And the name of the school I teach is NCL Primary School. We changed the name.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Into this new company coming to here.
How old are your students?
I teach grade 7, 8, 12 years old. And now they are touring. We are on the ship now. Some of our friends.
Well, thank you.
Have you seen them?
the dock. Here comes the tender in. And it has some of the children from the teacher's class. By the way, to increase the opportunities of the islanders, the government has placed greater emphasis on education. Primary education is free and compulsory for the first 6 years. Mission schools are slowly being absorbed into the government primary school system. Higher education is expanding. Students may seek technical teacher or marine training or study in other countries, usually in Fiji. Here comes the kids. Yes. Well, there's another look at the pier. That's the one that's made out of coconut wood. Well, here we are, heading back to the ship. And what a day it's been. To see so many smiling and friendly faces, it was a delight to both Lois and I. It's probably one of the highlights of any cruise that we've ever taken. So those who stayed aboard sure missed a lot. And we really have to take our hats off to the missionaries who were there and instilled such good principles in those people. Things weren't all aligned to the almighty dollar like they are in some other places we know. Well, on our way back, we spotted this spear fisherman. And now it's back to the ship. By the way, the currents here are extremely strong, and we were told that one of our ship passengers got caught in the tide and was carried out when he was snorkeling, but fortunately one of the little boats picked him up. So here we are back at the ship. Let's go aboard. Well, after we were aboard, we went topside and took one more look at English Harbor, and then we went to a fruit and vegetable carving demonstration. This was at poolside. Well, there's all the neat things that the culinary artist made. Hey, and there's Sarah Lee and Howard again. I particularly like this one. And then it's out on the deck for another sunset. It's about 6:30. Well, it's about time for dinner, and then off to a dance and a show. But I'll tell you one thing, it's getting pretty rough. So we might skip the show. We'll go to dinner though. So, see you in the morning. Well, after a rocky night, here we are at sea again, and we start the day off with some immigration, which was good to get it out of the way as quickly as possible. And then there was the magic show later in the evening and a karaoke night, which was great. But we wanted to start the day off by seeing this Hawaiian cooking demonstration, as well as this enrichment lecture. And let me tell you, with those 30-foot swells, we were really going up and down. So, but let's go to the cooking demonstration.
All right, now we've got a nice sauce. We can serve this just as is. just have your green onions chopped up inside. What I want to do is I want to get a little bit more color out of those green onions. So now we're going to take it over to here, and we're going to puree this stuff up. Wallpaper. Very close. This is the hearts of palm. If you were to take a palm coconut tree and get a young one and cut it from the very beginning, essentially you're sacrificing the whole tree just to get to the heart of it. And you'll see the canned hearts of palm, but here in Hawaii we're very lucky to have these kind of things. And if I bring one of these into the kitchen, all the local guys just go nuts. They're all in the corners trying to get whatever scraps that they possibly can. So to walk into a kitchen with something like this in Hawaii, you'd be a very popular guy. Okay? And what we're going to do with this, I'd like to cut some of this stuff up for everybody to taste also in the end. And this will not be on the plate tonight. We're just playing around because I found some neat stuff in the storeroom. I'm going to put this on the rim of the plate. Okay? Anytime I put something on a plate, especially for a garnish on the rim of the plate, I don't know why this is, but I use an odd number of something. If you use an even number, use 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks very symmetrical. An odd number will always mix things up and take the eye to looking at different things on the plate. Okay? So this is essentially our finished plate with some hearts of palm on the rim, just for fun. Our scallion beurre blanc, a little bit of tomato concasse, some black sesame. It looks much like a potato. Yeah, in Hawaii we have a lot.
My able assistant this morning is new because my lifetime partner, associate, and slide mover is horizontal. So we'll do the best of this. Just before I came in here this morning, and a number of you were outside, there was a huge crash. I think a tray got, a rolling cart got loose, dumped things all over. I'm hoping that our little thing here will stay up through this. I don't know. And JD is up and about. He's on the second or third magazine, he says. And he promises he'll be back to work lights at some point.
Well, after that lecture, I came outside, and oh boy, we were really rocking and rolling, as you can see. Now there's one off of the fantail or stern of the ship. By the way, the lecturer was just marvelous. He was so informative, just told things in such simplest terms that even I could understand. He talked about earthquakes, volcanoes, all types of things. Well, it was rough the rest of that day, and actually also on Sunday, which was another day at sea. We would start the day off with a debarkation briefing. Then, of course, there's always bingo. And something we really enjoyed was Name That Tune. And wait till you see who's in it. But Lois and I started the day off with breakfast. So why don't you follow us into the dining room?
True. How about that, huh? Yes. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is from the bridge with a little bit of update on the weather and navigation. Today is the 6th.
You can hear the captain talking.
We are presently on a position of 11 degrees, 51 minutes north and 157 degrees, 16 minutes west. We still have very brisk winds. They are easterly about 25 to 30 knots. And we are steering 13 degrees. Since Fanning Island we have sailed 503 nautical miles or 578 shore miles. We have managed to get the speed up a little. We are now doing 14 knots or 16 miles per hour. We still have another 510 miles to go to Hilo or 586 shore miles. The nearest land is still Washington Island or Elmira Island. It's 406 nautical miles away. It's overcast and we have showers passing, so be aware of that when you walk on the open decks, they may be a little slippery. The temperature is 26 degrees centigrade or 79 degrees Fahrenheit. The weather yesterday and last night, as I indicated, have slowed us down. It looks now like we are going to arrive late tomorrow at Hilo. It means that we have to do some modifications to our schedule. So what we do is we go up to Hilo and dock on arrival. Then we stay in Hilo all day Tuesday and leave for Lahaina. We dock at Lahaina, we anchor at Lahaina Wednesday morning, and then we don't leave until 8:30 in the evening, so we get a full day in Lahaina. And Willy Willy will then be Thursday as scheduled, and obviously Honolulu on Friday. I'm sorry for the weather, but there is very little I can do about it. As I say, we will proceed to Hilo and dock there on arrival. It looks like it's going to be late tomorrow. I wish you a good day, and I'll give the mic over to Richard.
Well, I left that in so you could hear what the captain had to say. Boy, we're at sea another day. Hey, playing the piano is one of the hosts.
Enjoy your dancing too, Ted. Good.
He was also the dance instructor. Had his girlfriend aboard. Quite a talented fellow.
There's a sun that's trying to break through. Look at the blue sky.
Well, you can see the sea was pretty rough out here. And then it was off to see the cooking demonstration again.
Yeah, it's probably going to be better off.
This is going to be a recipe that has essentially 3 ingredients in it.
We've got coconut milk, lime leaves, onions, carrots, garlic, ginger, lemongrass, lobster.
Welcome to Aloha. Yes, welcome to our talk. This is our disembarkation talk, and as we've said a couple times, we in no shape or form are suggesting that the cruise is anywhere near is over. We're only about halfway, but we do want to get a little bit more business out of the way because it looks like tomorrow, arrival time in Hilo will be sometime tomorrow evening, okay? We have cut back the speed almost 10 knots an hour. We should be going about 15, 16 knots. The captain has cut it down to about 6 or 7 knots. When you accumulate that over 2 or 3 days, we've pretty much lost almost a full day. So tomorrow we're pretty much going to have another day at sea. We'll be arriving tomorrow evening. Again, that is yet to be determined as far as what time. We have to see what kind of speed, if any, that we can make up today. We do realize that once we arrive in Hilo tomorrow night, there's not a whole lot that you can do even tomorrow night in Hilo. It's not really a nighttime type of a port, but we feel by getting in there in the evening, we can at least tie the ship up. The motion will calm down, and a lot of you at least have a good night's sleep. Plus, we'll be there. We won't have to worry about an arrival time the following day. We will have a full day in Hilo, but that will be, let me get my notes straight here, that'll be on Tuesday. Okay, so Monday again, tomorrow will be, majority will be a sea day until sometime tomorrow night, where we will tie up in Hilo. We'll stay tied up all through the night and all day on Tuesday. Okay, the ship will be cleared, so Tuesday morning you can get up and go off the ship as early as you like to enjoy Hilo. Now Wednesday, we will make our way to Lahaina. Lahaina, once again, is a tender port. Okay, we'll have a full day in Lahaina from an early morning arrival. We'll depart sometime that evening, probably about 9 o'clock, something like that. When the luau tour returns, that'll probably be somewhere around when the last tender will come back. Okay? So Lahaina will be a full day on Wednesday. Now Thursday, we'll make our way to Kauai. Okay? And that'll be a regular day on Thursday. At that point, we will be caught up. Okay? So what basically has been missed if you were to look at the entire itinerary, is that second day in Lahaina. Okay, so that is being replaced more or less. We'll get all the ports in, but we're losing time-wise. We're losing the time on that second day in Lahaina. U.S. Agriculture Inspector, he will be at the gangway, and what he's looking for is fruits, vegetables, or fresh flowers. You cannot take these items off, okay? He can fine you up to as much as $50 per fruit if you're caught taking any of these items off. And actually, I learned this the hard way, because the first week that I was here, I've been on the ship for a couple months, and the first week I was here, I forgot to tell the passengers about taking off fruits and vegetables. And what happens is the last morning, you go up to the Marco Polo at the buffet, people look at the buffet and they're thinking, supermarket, we're on our way home now. We have nothing in the refrigerator, so they start shopping. And people actually have little portable carts that they open up. And they start taking this and that and all the other kind of thing, and they put it all in their carry-on luggage or whatever, they can hide it and to take it off the ship. Well, like I said, the first week I forgot to tell anybody about this, and when the ship was cleared, passengers started going off the gangway. The agriculture inspector stopped a couple people just to do a routine check through their bags, and they found loads and loads of oranges and bananas and all that kind of thing, and they went to find them, and they said, well, we were never told. Well, then, of course, they paged me right away, and I said, yes, sir, it is true. I forgot to tell them about it. Could you let the people slide? He said, well, we'll waive the fine this time, but we're going to have to check everybody's bags. So it slowed down. It was a mess. It slowed down the whole process. They found so much fruit that eventually he asked for a table. And so they set up a table at the gangway, and he's putting all the fruit on the table and that kind of thing. And there was so much fruit on this table that the last 100 people that went off the ship, they thought it was a farewell buffet, so they started taking off the table. It was a mess. What a nice idea, what a nice thought, yeah, farewell buffet. And now you cannot take any of these items off. Offload of the ship, as I mentioned, the luggage will be checked for any illegal drugs coming into the United States, okay? The luggage will be sniffed by FBI trained dogs. If one of these dogs stops and puts his paw on your luggage, customs officer will come over and put his paw on you. It's an ugly situation, but again, make sure you're not trying to bring any of these. I don't think we certainly don't have any problem with illegal drugs coming back into the country, but so we do ask that you keep this in mind. We do have to tell you, but again, I'm sure we don't have that problem. Okay, just the fruits and vegetables. Be very careful with that. One in this area, so we like to take a couple moments and clear this up. Envelopes should be placed in your cabin to be used for tipping sometime on Wednesday. Sometime on Wednesday, these will be put on your cabin. The best time to tip would be the last night of the cruise, which would be Thursday night. These are the suggested guidelines for an 11-day cruise. First of all, how's the service been in the dining room? Is that an excellent job? Okay, first would be your dining room maitre d'. He is in charge of creating and maintaining the entire atmosphere that makes you feel as comfortable as you do in our dining room. He trains the entire dining room staff, oversees the whole operation as far as the waiters and the busboys. The suggested gratuity for your maitre d', this would only be the maitre d' in your section, would be $1.50 per person per day. Okay? Next would be your dining room waiters. A waiter that you would want to tip would be the waiter that you had for your evening meals. And again, the best time to tip your waiter would be on the last night of the cruise. The suggested gratuity would be $3 per person per day. Your dining room busboy, he's a gentleman that brings you the rolls, clears the empty plates, all that kind of thing. Suggested gratuity, $1.50 per person per day. We also ask that you try to hand the gratuity envelope to the person you are tipping directly, okay? Put his name or position on the envelope as well, okay? And try to hand it to them directly. Next area would be the cabin stewards. How's the service been in the cabins? They've done a terrific job for you? Okay, the suggested gratuity for your cabin steward would be $3 per person per day. Once again, $3 per person per day. You want to try to hand the gratuity to your cabin steward as well. Now, some of you might automatically be thinking, what if we don't see our cabin steward on the last night of the cruise? I think on the last night of the cruise, you'll have trouble not tripping over your cabin steward. Not only will you see him, but you're going to hear about his wife and 20 children as well. All the stories come out. No, they're absolutely terrific. If for some reason you don't see them, just leave the envelope on your pillow that night, and when he comes in to clear it or to turn down the bed in the early part of the evening, then he'll receive that. Okay, so that.
Well, here's a view looking out of the Rhapsody Lounge. It's right at the bow of the ship, and it's pretty rough out there. So let's turn around and let's watch Name That Tune.
Bring some music of yesteryear. Now, before we get started, we are filming this TV show, and it's being televised in all the ships around the Pacific area that are picking up local TV channels. So all we want you to do is turn around and wave to the cameras. Wave to your friends and family at home. Yes. All right. Now, what would a game show be without a fabulous panel of experts? And we've got the best. First of all, our cue card girl, your hostess. Having a nice round of applause for Sandra. And of course, we've got one of the best announcers in show business today. Having a nice round of applause for your assistant cruise director, George.
Thank you very much, Rick. You know, before I came here on board the MS Norwegian Dynasty, I used to work down in Orlando at the MGM and Orlando.
Thank you, George. Next, we have a gentleman who'll be doing all the scoring this afternoon. How about a nice round of applause? That's keeping score. Keeping score. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, same thing. How about a nice round of applause for your host, Douglas? And of course, Pat Sajak wanted to send her. She was here, flown in by helicopter. We took one look at her, we sent her right back. We said, no way, we've got the best. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our own Vanna White. How about a nice round of applause for Rachel?
Say California.
Zana from San Jose. And Anna from San Jose. Okay, and you do what for a living?
Nothing.
Nothing, that's what I want to do. You are all our dreams come true. Okay, I'm going to have you separate just a little bit here. Okay. You ready? I want to hear that sound. Contestants, are you ready? Okay. Musical director, first song in the TV show and Broadway show round. Here we go. Yes. Gilligan's Island is correct for a point. Give her a nice round of applause. Doug, what's the score? Thank you. Next tune, please. Yes. No. Anybody got it? Yes.
Happy Trails.
Happy Trails is correct. Gotta blow on the whistle. That's a point over here. All right, for contestant number one. Doug, what's the score? It's thank you. Next tune, please. Yes, right here.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Beverly Hillbillies is good for a point. Next tune, please. Yes.
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse is correct for a point. Audience. Flipper is correct. George, what were you doing?
Well, I was trying to give them a hint. That was Flipper.
Oh.
Yeah. What I was trying to tell these folks before, when I was rudely interrupted, was that before coming on board the ship, I used to work at the MGM studios on the sound effects. And I used to work on the set, and that was Flipper calling Bud to the dock.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I also do some others.
What else do you do?
I do the attack call.
How's that go? What else do you do? Anything else?
Yeah, we also do the mating call too as well when we're there.
The mating call, how's that go?
It's, hey babe, come here often.
George! Point for contestant number one. Okay. Next tune, please. Yes. Batman is correct. Petticoat Junction is correct. That was a tough one. Is that 3 points? Is that 3? Okay, you're going into the semifinals as well. You both did. Wait. It's not even on my list.
what are you doing the rest of your life? Everything was to be water.
I got a little with the accents, I guess. That's with the accents. All right, George, I think he's confused. Show him what you mean by the water.
By the sea. By the beautiful sea.
By the beautiful sea is correct for a point. Next tune, please. I heard about 20 people call it out. That's your first warning now. All right, Susan, call it out. Yeah, I heard a lot of people call it. I was down by the riverside on that one. Okay, no points on that one. Next tune, please. Yes.
Purple lights. Purple lights.
Singing in the Rain is correct. I think that's right, right? You're automatically into the finals. Okay. Been doing some research on our finalists. So, George, tell us a little bit about what you've dug up about our finalists.
That's right, Rick. This afternoon I was playing with my laptop. And I got some dirt on these two here. First of all, we have Anna. She's a graduate of Altered States University. Now, she majored in, pharmaceutical development. That's right. Anna is also the proud owner of the 1988 gold medal from the javelin catch in the Olympics. For all the men out there, Anna is quite single and quite available. Ooh, that's right. There are 3 requirements of the one courting her affection. What are them? You must work hard.
Work hard.
You must play hard.
Play hard.
And you must stay faithful.
Faithful. All right.
So let's hear it for Anna, ladies and gentlemen. Moving along, Leonard here is a professional hog caller. And he also speaks Pig Latin very fluently. Now, his favorite show is Hee-Haw, and this is where he gets his tips for his cruise wear that he has right now. That's where he gets all his fashion tips from, although Leonard has an IQ of 12. 12? Only 12.
You're surrendering!
Sunshine.
You are my sunshine is correct. Next tune, please. Yes.
Hi Lily. Hi Lily. Hi Lo.
Hi Lily, hi Lily, hi Lo is correct. Next tune.
This many.
10 points.
10 points. And she does nothing, Rick. And Leonard from Michigan, who does nothing also, I can't remember, has this many.
5. Okay, well, we said 16, so we have one more song. We have one more song, but we're going to ask that you don't blow the whistle this time. Okay? We're just going to let you play on this one. If you get this song right, then we're going to call it a tie and make them both winners. What do you think? Is that fair? One. Rachel's going to show you, and George is going to tell you. Is right.
That's right. Leonard is our first runner this afternoon. It's another
one. Grand prize winner. Rachel's going to show you where put you one, and George is going to tell you.
That's right. And as our grand champion this afternoon, we pulled all the stops out as we make our way through your Dynasty Prize Showcase. The entire Dynasty plastic collection includes a koozie, the luggage tag, the keychain, the water bottle, the shopping bag, and a marvelous blend of the finest grapes from Paris, Texas. That's right, it's a bottle of champagne, and we charge it right to your cabin. So you pick the bottle, we charge it to your cabin. Now, if you don't like the taste of it, that's okay. You can always use it as a gasoline additive. It adds 40% to your mileage. Now, don't serve it to your friends because you might not have any. Suggested retail price on that bottle we'll charge to your cabin is $2.99. And I'm not done yet. And sit down. As the winner of this afternoon's Name That Tune, you now qualify to come back at your own expense, of course, for a chance to win cash prizes worth more than...
Get ready for the last time. How much, George?
$33.44. Let's give her a nice big round of applause.
Congratulations as our grand prize winner.
Well, as you can see, we're still diving into them. So I think it's about time we go up to our room, relax a little, and get ready for dinner. See you at dinner. Well, as you can see, the suggested dress for tonight is formal. So we'll be all decked out tonight. And, hey, let's stop by Mary and Bill's table first, shall we?
I guess we are.
And how many times have you eaten today already?
I think it's 2.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Bye-bye. Well, as you can see, it's a formal night. And Joe and Anna are enjoying theirs. What you got there, Joe?
Yum, yum.
Boy, that looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is really...
Okay. There's Steak Diane tonight, huh? Is that the way you fix it at home, dear?
All the time.
Oh, sure. There he is.
Jerry's Jubilee. Well, now we're at the dining room for the gala buffet. Nice ice sculpture. Hey, look at that. You ready to eat that? How about that for a cheesecake? Swans? Little birds? And the breads were really fixed neat.
Please step outside. We'll open up for another few minutes.
Thank you.
This was served at 11:30 p.m. Well, you can see it's Monday and we have another day at sea. But the staff has many things for us to do. There's, of course, always bingo. And there's the hilarious Liars Club comedy show. And the hula graduation ceremony. We'll catch those activities. But now let's go out on the deck and see how the day is. Well, there's nobody around. That has to tell you something. The seas are still pretty rocky. Hey, here's the game center, and nobody ever completed this 3D puzzle. Well, you can see we still have some big, pretty good sized swells. Hey, is there anybody else around? Hey, yes, there is Anna and Joe. Well, let's now go and listen to the shore excursion manager tell us about the Jones Act.
It was a law written by the United States in 1920 to protect American shipping interests. They figured by passing this law, everyone would build their ships in the United States and it would protect the industry. What the Jones Act states is that any foreign flag vessel cannot discharge its gas from one U.S. port to another. Well, guess what? Out of 223 cruise ships in the world, there's only one that is U.S. flagged, and that's the U.S. Independence, American Hawaiian Cruise. So every other foreign flag vessel, which is most cruise ships, has to visit at least one foreign port of entry before calling back into the United States to discharge its passengers. In other words, return or go to and from the ship in a one voyage time. Therefore, on our Hawaiian voyage, we have to go to Fanning Island. That's the nearest port of entry, foreign port of entry. And that's the Jones Act.
Thanks a lot. By the way, I think Fanning Island was really great, and I think perhaps when we get through with this with the cruise, that we'll find that to be one of the highlights.
Yeah, well, it's a true gem. It's so primitive. We're very fortunate to go there and see it. You know, to see how primitive it is and experience just what we have. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
The other thing is, notice that NCL has done a real good job in providing supplies and things for them there. And something that you don't brag about or say anything about, but I think we as passengers notice that and want to compliment
you. Yeah, and we're very careful about what we provide too. It's mostly in the form of school supplies and school aid, educational aid, sports equipment and school supplies is mostly what we give them.
Great, thanks.
My pleasure.
Then it was off to the Liars Club. So let's pick up the action, shall we?
What you think blenophobia means?
Blenophobia is the fear that this ship will never stop rocking. I'm teasing. No, it's the fear that you'll travel 800 miles to a place without a toilet. I'm teasing again. Teasing. It's the fear that you'll take a shower in this moving thing and swirl around like a swizzle stick inside there. No, okay. You know what it is, actually? It is a phobia. It is a fear. It's a fear of making a decision. And that was a good example right there. I thought of all these jokes, and I used them all. I couldn't decide on one. I am a blenophobic, and it's when you're presented with a lot of options and you can't make a decision. It's the fear of making a decision. We have a support group. We haven't decided where to meet yet. It's fear of making a decision.
Okay, thanks, Milt. George, you're up.
Okay. First of all, I'm from New York, so anything that I say is a lie. Just tell you up front that I will not tell the truth on any of these words. Phobia, blenophobia, as Milt said, it's a fear of something. Bleno is the fear of mixing. Fear of mixing. I'll give you an example of that. Blenophobia, there is a disease out there. Now, it's not a common one. It's been classified as blenophobia. What it is, you know those corrugated cardboard plates? They have one little section for your entree, another one for your potatoes, another one for your corn and carrots. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Well, those were designed for people with blenophobia. They don't want the gravy from their meats going on to the carrots and the corn. You laugh. It is the fear of mixing one's food, and they need to eat it in a certain order. Plain and simple blenophobia.
Okay, George. Cameron! Straighten us out on this word, blenophobia.
Blenophobia is the fear of being sucked down your cabin toilet. You should have closed the lid, that's all I'm saying. no, I know what this is. And it's kind of funny because before I was into magic, actually, and still am, I do special effects. And I work with Universal Studios to help do special effects for a small movie you might have heard called Ghostbusters. Oh, you've heard of it? Well, there you have it. And we created the messy, gooey stuff that there would be all of the actors. And on occasion, they would all have to come in and just get soaked with this stuff to shoot some of the scenes. And it's actually the fear of this stuff being coated onto you. It's basically the fear of being slimed. All right, I'm going back to the toilet gig. That's all I'm doing. It's the fear of slime. I'm not kidding you.
Okay, thank you, Cameron. Sandra.
Hello, everyone. As you know, I am from Canada, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And if you didn't know that, you know that now. And while I was there, actually in Canada, I went to school in London, Ontario, which is the University of Western Ontario. And it is while I was there that I had the opportunity to date this gentleman named Jim. Now Jim and I, he took me out on a date, and Jim and I are sitting at the table, and he decides to, it's our first date, he decides to go to the bathroom, no problem. So I order us a cocktail, and sort of just like on this ship, smoothies were really great in this particular restaurant that he took me to. So I ordered him a smoothie and myself a smoothie, a strawberry and banana smoothie, and I have to say it was really good when I tasted it. And so he was in the bathroom a while, and he came back, and when he sat down, he just wouldn't drink the smoothie. You know, at first I didn't think much of it, but then, you know, half an hour goes by and dinner's there and he still hasn't drank the smoothie. And so sort of what George said, it is a fear of, you know, phobia, and it is actually a fear of mixing, but it's a different sort of fear of mixing. I realized that he was afraid, he ended up telling me that he's afraid to drink things or eat things that are mixed together. So any food that has gone through a blender, like if you mixed gravy or any particular baby food that they blend all the peas and the corns and the carrots and the meat, you know, or meatloaf, someone's grinding the meat together. It's a really big fear of blending or mixing food, eating or drinking food that's blended or mixed together. And so really, it was a strange, he has like the strangest eating habits I've ever seen in it. That was our first date and it was our last, and that really is what bluntophobia is, a fear of drinking or eating food that has been, so it was a strange little night, and that's what it is. I learned that night. Bluntophobia.
Yeah, this gentleman that's videotaped, you just wasted about 5 minutes.
That's exactly right.
Okay, there you have it. We're going to recap very quickly, and we're going to give you a chance to vote on who you think is telling the truth. So we're going to go
land yet?
quickly right down the line.
Another CD.
Milt, quick recap on bluntophobia.
It's the fear of making a decision.
George.
The fear of mixing one's food.
Cameron.
The fear of slime.
Sandra.
Well, as you know, if you didn't know, I'm from Canada. I went to the University of Western Ontario, and I learned from this gentleman named Jim that I dated that bluntophobia is, because he has a fear of eating or drinking food that has been blended together. Bluntophobia.
Okay, thank you, pals. Okay, we're going to give you a chance to vote. See if you can tell who is telling the truth. We're going to only ask you to vote for one of our panelists. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together if you think that Milt is telling the truth.
I think it's George.
Remember, just vote once. How many think George is telling the truth? How many think Cameron is telling the truth?
Yay! Yay!
And how many think Sandra is telling the truth? How many don't care one way or the other? You notice that there were a lot of votes that were missing. I had to know that. Okay, for those of you who voted, we're going to find out who is telling the truth. Will the real definition of bluntophobia please stand up?
I think it's George.
Bluntophobia is the fear of slime.
Well, the Liars Club went on for about a half an hour. I'll just show you some highlights now of some of the rest of the words. Of course, Sandra was talking all the time, and they were really getting after her.
wood session. Call 2 little ducks. I'm 22. I'm 22. There's 2 ducks in the house out there. I'm 22. Good falling off. I'm saying doubles again. G55 are 2 shiny nipples, right? G55.
As you know, I'm from Canada, and while I was there, I went to the University of Western Ontario. And while I was there, I studied English and journalism, and in my 4 years, I dated this gentleman named Alan. Now, Alan lived a little further out away from London, but on our 3rd date, he decided to, his family owned a farm. Not a ranch this time, but a farm. And, you know, I'm not much of a farm girl. I come from a really big city. And so I go to this farm with him, and after we go to the farm, what happens?
Yes, right here. Beverly Hillbillies is good for a point.
So we go into
Next
the farm.
tune, please.
There's a cow sitting in there, and this is
Yes.
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse is correct for a point. Next tune,
What
please.
happens is they call the veterinarian.
Coming right up, we're going to reset the stage coming up at 3:15. Of course, we've got our hula graduation ceremony. So Auntie June will be here with all the graduates. And what a performance they have for you this afternoon. But before we sign off for this afternoon, once again, how about a nice round of applause for our panelists here from Milk, Joy, Cameron, Sandra.
We have students from all over the world, and they wanted to take this intensified, accelerated 5-day course. That's right, and they wanted to graduate on Norwegian Dynasty and perform for you today. They could not wait. We have ages ranging from 3 years old to 92. However, the 3-year-old and the 92 decided sleep was more important, so they decided not to go to bed instead of doing the hula graduation. But we do have a 7-year-old hula dancer. She comes from California, and she is with her youth director, Rachel, who will come on up. And both of them are named Rachel. So here is Rachel and Rachel. Rachel had 2 classes, and she is going to dance for you Pearly Shells.
Ocean, shining in the sun, covering the shores. When I see them, my heart tells me that I love you more than all those little pearly shells. Oh, we're going to a hooky log. Everybody loves a hooky log, where the long is the come of the hooky log. We throw our nets out into the sea, and all the umbrella comes swimming in. Oh, we're going to a hooky log, a hooky, 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 hooky log. What a wonderful day for fishing. With life in the laughter of morning and starry nights. And flowers full of colors and birds filled with song. I can smell my dreaming and touch the warmth of the sky. Chills and laughing in this place. flowers too.
Well, at about 5:45, we went up on the deck to see the sunset. Again, a beautiful one. Now, since we were heading to Hilo, the captain requested permission to cruise right along the shoreline there so we could see the lava flow that was going down tubes into the ocean. And it's very difficult to videotape, but boy, out there in person, it was spectacular. You would see the fire and the smoke coming out of the ocean. Well, now it's Tuesday morning, and we're here at Hilo, and it's a day that we will be touring the volcano area. And then when we get back on the ship, there's the Hawaiian Children's Choir, showstoppers, bingo, and when we set sail, the casino will be open.
Hey, we're going on a tour today, aren't we?
Oh, well, yeah, but they shortened it a little bit, George. They figured that it might be raining and maybe a little bit cold, so for the convenience of us, they're going to show a slide presentation in here. But don't worry about it, we'll get free lunch.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, in spite of what Joe jokingly said, we did take a tour. And here we are out at one of the falls. And you can see why Hilo is known as the city of rainbows, because there's lots of water there. In fact, it's the wettest city in the United States of America, receiving an average of 139 inches of rainfall per year. From there, we went out here to the macadamia nut farm. And these are macadamia nut trees. And that's macadamia nut. Oh boy, let me tell you, there's a lot of calories in these macadamia nuts, but they sure are good. Well, there's a picture of our bus, and that's a view of the road going out of the farm, and now we're inside the store. Hey, it doesn't seem like Christmas over here in the islands. There's some of your macadamia nuts. How's that look? What about that reindeer? Now we're over in the area where you can look down into the factory as they're doing the packaging. There you can see the macadamia nuts being sorted. Quite a job.
Yeah, exactly right. I'd like to do that by the hour. And go bananas, huh?
Picking out all the dark ones. Our next stop was at an orchid garden that had a beautiful display of not only orchids but other native Hawaiian plants. next stop was lunch at the Volcano House, which is in the Volcanoes National Park. It's a very delightful place, great view. And that is a picture of Pili, the goddess of the volcano.
You've had lunch, and now you're going to view the crater, huh?
That's right. Walk
Good.
some of the calories off.
Good. The macadamia nuts.
Right.
As you can see, it's not the clearest day up here, but you take what you can.
From there, we continued around the crater rim and went over to this museum. And from here, you got a really good view of the Kilauea caldera. And we went inside the museum. It had some interesting displays. There's Pili, the volcano goddess, and look at the seismographs. I had a working model there.
There, you just jumped and made an earthquake. You sure have gained weight on this cruise.
Oh, you did see it move?
Yeah.
You did it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See that?
Mm-hmm.
That's about 2,000 calories.
Well, we just wandered around the museum, enjoying the displays. This is a film of one of the past eruptions of lava. Scary, isn't it? And here we are on the outside. And there's Lois and, hey, I think Galen and Karen are here. Yeah, there they are. Well, I guess we've got to get back to the bus.
Here's George.
Where you from, cuz?
We're from California.
From California?
Yes.
The family back in California would like to say aloha to you folks. My full name is Kyoki Kalemokihana Kamehele. You can remember that? In English, it's George.
Or Richard.
Or Richard.
Yeah, whichever you prefer.
Or Henry. Well, I really like the cousin that is behind this camera. You know, he's a close cousin of mine. And how close we could be is that we got the same first name, George.
That's right.
You know, for the family, for George back home in California, I would like to say aloha.
Great, and thank you much. You're doing a great job.
Well, we continued on the Crater Rim Road, and we made stops along the way to take a look at some of the lava flows. And we arrived here at the Thurston Lava Tube. And it was formed many, many years ago when the surface of a flow hardened and the molten rock inside flowed away, leaving a tunnel that can be explored for, about 500 feet.
I'll walk backwards and go right into the puddle. So you're about on your way out, huh?
That's good.
You going for the lavatory?
Our next stop is down where the Black Sand Beach used to be. And this is where the active flow is now. And that plume of steam is what we'd seen last night, where the lava is going into the ocean. And there you can see the texture of the lava flow. The lava flow is creating somewhere over 200 acres of new ocean land. The area we are on was some 8 miles one way and 5 miles the other. Now we're heading back to our ship. So let's go aboard and see the Hawaiian Children's Choir. It's approaching 7:30, about ready to depart, and take a look how it's raining out there. Well, tonight, by the way, at 11:30 is a fruit buffet. So let's go see it, shall we?
So you're...
Mine is all gone. I
It's
made a
all-
pig of myself.
You made a pig of
But I
yourself.
can run out and get some more.
Right. And you asked for some lemon?
Yeah. You think it's enough for a cup of tea?
Oh boy, that's good.
And of course, being the lightest eater in the group.
Yeah, right. Well, since those double entrees, huh? Boy, you're doing pretty good. Hello? How are you doing?
It's Wednesday, and here we are in Lahaina, Maui. Well, since we have a timeshare here and get over here at least once a year, we elected just to go in and walk around the neat little town of Lahaina. And then later on, come back for lunch on the ship and then see the guest talent show. But first, hey, let's show you our room. 3128. Well, it might not be spacious, but it's comfortable. The closets are pretty good size. And here's the famous bathroom. Anthony sure keeps it clean though, and the shower. Well, then it was out on the deck, Hey, you can see the temperature's 80 degrees. Well, they're cleaning off the windows up there at the bridge. Somebody has to work.
Aloha, kakayaka. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, all guests holding tender ticket number 5, and only number 5 may proceed to the gangway. Once again, at this time, mahalo and welcome to sunny Lahaina, Maui.
Well, since we had tender ticket number 5, we'll go ashore here to Lahaina. Now, Lahaina was once the whaling capital of the mid-Pacific. These warm waters are a haven for humpback whales, which of course come from the Arctic to mate and bear their young off the coasts of Maui and Lanai. Between December and April, the whales can be seen swimming and leaping. And we're going to be tendering in to the center of town at Wharf Street. And then we'll just walk down through the town and show you some of the sights and some of the arty stores. Now this is one of the little ferries from the outer islands. Now the banyan tree, which is shown here, it arrived from India in 1873, and it only had one trunk. Today, it has 12 trunks and is over 50 feet tall and provides shade to over 2/3 of an acre. Now here's the downtown Front Street, and you can see there's some pretty nice stores and all kinds of artsy things. It's one of the old missionary houses. Well, take a look at this little crab. Now he's going to fight this wave. Watch this. Boy, I thought he'd get washed off, but it looks like he's heading for a safe harbor there. Almost looks like that rock was carved out specifically for him. By the way, we're still just walking down Front Street. On this side of the street is the ocean. On the other side are stores, and here, of course, is Planet Hollywood, which is in one of the old buildings. You can see they're prepared for Christmas. This is the Wohing Temple. It was built in 1909 and is a part of the Kangtong 17th Century Fraternal Society that has branches throughout the world. A lot of eating places right there on the water. We're down at the far end of town, and by the way, that's the Hard Rock Cafe. And now I think we should go into Hilo Hattie's, where everybody goes sometime.
Aloha and welcome to Hilo Hattie's. And your winning number is 2323.
Good, okay.
Yeah, that's the winning number if you have that number right now.
Well, as Lois said, we didn't have the winning cabin number. We always seem to look around and find something to take home with us from Hilo Hattie's. Look at that fancy motorcycle. $55,000. It has 24-karat gold leaf. This is one of the Christmas trees that they were starting to decorate. Now, Maui is the second largest of the islands in land area. It measures nearly 730 square miles, and it's called the Valley Island. Local pride, though, sums it up as being, quote, Maui is the best. It is a three-way favorite. First, it attracts more visitors than any other neighbor island. Second, it's the fastest growing island in the state. And third, its economic future looks particularly bright. Although the other islands are phasing out their traditional sugar and pineapple plantations, Maui continues to produce these products in relative abundance. Well, here we are, back at the ship. Let's go to the guest talent show.
Jingle bells ring from a steel guitar. Dingle, dingle.
This group was from San Jose.
Up north, Vancouver, Canada, eh? Please help me welcome. We have Sylvie. She's going to sing a very beautiful song. Come on out, Sylvie.
All I want is a room somewhere far away from the Long Island. With one enormous chair and it'd be lovely. Lots of chocolate for me to eat. Lots of fun making lots of heat. Warm face, warm hand, feet on and it'd be lovely.
We have Jim Bull. Come on out, Jim.
Are you ready, JD? We're set. I hope you like this. The more I see you, the more I want you. Somehow this feeling, it grows and grows.
Hi, come on out.
Thank you. Hope you like it. I'm not going to do the fanny dance. And now, the end is here, and as I face the final curtain, my friends, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I have had a few, but then again, too few to mention. And I did what I had to do, and I saw them through. I've earned my pension. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every byway. And folks, you've got to know I did it my way. I've loved and cried. I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that. And may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man what has he got? If not himself, then he has not. You say the words he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows, and I did it my way.
Look at that. All the way from New York, my hometown. Thank you. Thank you. It's a great song. Thank you very much, Ian. Okay, we're going to move along. And this next young lady, she may be frail, but she too came into Alexander's Lounge and fought her way through how many people? 50. Very good. And she too made her way and got a spot in tonight's show. She's going to do some, you've heard of stand-up comedy? This is sit-down comedy. Please help me welcome to the stage, we have Ruth Peppercorn. Come on out, Ruth. Did I say it right? I always buy my participants a... Have a seat right there, Ruth. And I'll come back and get you. You tell me when you're done, okay?
Hi. I am from Missouri. We Missourians don't brag very much. You know, the reason is because we're known as the show-me state. And literally that means put up or shut up. So I'm going to try to put up just a little. I live in a little small town, and there's a lot of togetherness there. These three little old ladies, they get together twice a week, and they play a little gin and gossip a lot. And this one little lady said, you know, I'm getting very, very worried about myself. I'm getting so forgetful. Do you know it took me 3 hours to find where I laid my glasses? The other little lady said, oh, honey, don't worry, that's nothing. I went to the refrigerator to get something out of the refrigerator, and I opened the door, and I looked in, and I shut the door. 2 hours later, I remembered what I was supposed to get out of the refrigerator. The other little old lady looked at me, she said, oh, I feel so sorry for all of you. You have so many problems. I don't have any problems at all. I'm perfectly normal. I'm just going to knock on wood. Knock, knock, knock. Well, one of you ladies, please go see who's knocking on the front door. Joe's a nice guy. We like Joe. He works down at the machine shop, and he's always been such a nice person. We've always liked him. But you know, that morning on Monday, he went to work with 2 black eyes. The boy said, heavens, where did you get those, at the bar? He said, no, got them at church. Well, how can you get black eyes at church? Wasn't hard. Preacher told us the song to sing and told us to stand up. Well, there was a lady standing in front of me, and her dress was, her dress was, I unstuck it, and she turned around and socked me in the eye. Well, she said, you got another black eye. How did you get that one? Well, he said, she socked me again. He said, when we stood up the second time, I tried to put the dress back. I tell you, Harry's a drunk. You don't tell him that. He doesn't like it. He says, I am not a drunk. I just have a mighty big thirst. Well, he was in the bar, and the bartender says, hey, Harry, I can't serve you anything else. That's all you can have. You're going to fall under the table. Now, wait a minute. I am not drunk. I'll tell you, I can prove it. Now, see, look. I see that one-eyed cat coming in the back door. He said, Harry, you're drunk. That one-eyed cat's going out the back door. Real nice guy, too. We like Jim. But he's heard so much of this stuff about sex on television, and he's getting really worried about himself. So he got talking to his wife about it, and she said, now let me tell you something, Jim. You don't have to worry about that. After all, who should know if I don't know? But if you don't feel good about it, go down and talk to your doctor. So Jim said, okay, I will. So he went down to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, you're too sedentary. You need to get up and move around a little. I'll tell you what you do. You walk 5 miles a day for 10 days, and then you call me. So he said, okay. So 10 days went by, telephone rang, the doctor said, hello, and he said, this is Jim. He said, well, Jim, how are you? Well, he said, I'm just fine. He said, well, how's your sex life? He said, well, how in the hell do I know? I'm 50 miles from home. Australia on a trip. And we were on this big old bus, you know, and the bus driver saw this Kodiak bear standing over there. And he said, now I'm going to stop here and let y'all take some pictures. But he said, when you take those pictures, take them real fast and get back on this bus. Well, everybody did what they told him to do, except this one lady. She kept going closer and closer and closer to this bear. He kept stumping up and down and yelling, lady, don't do that, come on. Finally, the bear started growling, and the bus driver run and jumped on the bus and shut the door. Passengers, hey, don't do that. My goodness, that bear's going to get after that lady. Please open the door and let her in. He said, I can't do it. It's against regulations. Regulations, my foot, open that door. He said, I just cannot do it. Our bus regulations tell us we cannot let anybody on this bus with a bear behind.
It was up on the pool deck to watch the ice carving.
You could not master this art and you were celebrating a special occasion. You could actually have these made to order. Wherever you go, you could look under ice sculptures, but usually you look at their local catering halls. Your local catering hall, I'm pretty close to it, but if you come up and take a look yourself, it's melting quite quickly too as well. Now, you have noticed all the fruit and veg course in the US of A. One of the big major attractions at that convention was an ice sculpture made of 300 blocks of ice, similar to the one that you saw here. What they did is they stacked it up, one on top of each other. Don't forget tomorrow, just a little advertisement here, that we are doing the raffle. That will be at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. This beautiful display and place it right on top of the buffet table. What's your name and where you're from for those of you that don't know you?
Hannah from Maryland.
Hannah from Maryland, well congratulations. You won our door prize. We're dying to this for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, have something to eat and tomorrow have a willy good time.
There they are. Enjoyed it, huh?
6:90 right here. We're starving. We're going to get up again.
Yeah. I can hear. Oh, yeah.
Did you get a good picture of the ice sculpture?
Yes, I sure did, Joe.
It was going well until my battery ran down.
Well, that's the way life goes. My human one runs out all the time.
It's Thursday, December 10th, and that means this is our last port of call. It's in Kauai, and it's 8 a.m. and here we are. And today's big event, of course, is going to be this final giant jackpot bingo. I wonder who's going to win that. And then later on, we'll see the final show, the farewell show. But now let's go on outside. As you can see, it's a beautiful day here. A wonderful day to get out and explore the area. Here's two of the crew personnel sprucing up our ship. Well, since Lois and I had been here a month ago, stayed down at the Princeville area, we decided just to have a leisurely day and just go over to the little shopping center that's right there adjacent to the ship. It's right next to the grounds of the Marriott. beautiful hotel there, and I elected to do quite a bit of videoing of that hotel. And by the way, those bananas are right there on the hotel grounds, since they do have timeshares there, and I think we might spend a week there next year. So here we go, just kind of walking around the grounds, show you some of the sights. And as we do so, let's review a little of the island's history. It's the fourth largest and northernmost of the major Hawaiian islands. And Kauai was the first to be free of volcanic activity since the time of its origin. Historically, Kauai is believed to be the first populated island of the group. And it's called the Garden Island because of its lush vegetation and agricultural bounty. And man, does it ever rain there. Somewhere around 460 inches annually. Now that's up at the top of this tall peak on the island, which is 5,000 feet. The flowers there are really beautiful. And the pools here at the Marriott are something else. There are spas located in each of those structures there. You can see one right there. This is taken from atop of that spa area. Now we're heading into where the lobby is. And by the way, the room rates here are as follows. The garden view is $259 a night. The pool ocean view is $315. The ocean view is $369, and the suites are $599 to $1,800 a night. So let me tell you, our little room on that ship sure seems like a buy. Well, I think it's time to head back to the ship, and we'll go aboard, and there's some lei making. So let's go to it, shall we?
Giant jackpot bingo, and that jackpot has to go this afternoon. Expected to go over $2,000. And again, expected to go this afternoon. Also, don't forget, bring the raffle tickets that you picked.
You have about 2 and 3 inches hanging from the middle, right? All you do is tie a knot. Make a knot. The knot is to keep the needle from slipping out of the hook. The eye is going to be long. Oh no, say hi.
Gotcha. There's even got the rowdies over there.
And Jersey girls, right?
The Jersey girls. Well, while they're working on the leis, we'll just go out and walk around the ship. These are paintings in the atrium. It's on the walls. Very nice ones. We're headed up to deck 7. And here's the library. Had a nice assortment of books. There's the game room. And there's that puzzle. Nobody's completed it yet. And here we're down at the purser's office. This is on deck 5. And that's Alexander's bar. This is the gym. That's up on deck 8. And now we're outside on the deck up there. Here we are, back. Look at them. They're coming along pretty darn good, aren't they? It's just about 5 p.m. and we're just about ready for departure to Honolulu.
Great. Looks nice.
A lot of fun.
Good. Ship's about ready to depart.
Well, the longshoremen are there, and so are their dogs. They're getting ready to cast off the lines. You can see one of them going right there. And we're going to be heading for Honolulu. Hey, that dog gets a lot of love and care, doesn't it? There they are, the captain and some guests out there ready to get us underway. And that's the captain, and he's on the thrusters. And you can see the pilot over here in the little left-hand lower corner. It's just about 5:30. You can see his hand on the thrusters. And this little tugboat was there at our stern to help get us around. You can see that we have a small opening that we had to get through over here. And that's a view looking back at where we were docked. Beautiful sky. The Marriott Hotel over there to your left. And I think I'll just let you listen to the music as we head out of this port. Let's go in the Rhapsody Lounge and see who won at bingo.
So
$119.
that's what you got.
Yes.
That is wonderful.
First game.
First game.
Oh, I came in later.
We missed the 2000.
Well, you know.
$119 for the first bingo game for the Banzai.
Well, isn't that neat? Now listen, when I get home, we have your address and we're turning it into the IRS, you realize.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
They know us well.
Yeah, right. So I understand you had quite a day, huh?
Oh, we bit off more than we can chew, sir.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Beautiful though, huh?
It was beautiful, but we didn't know it was 5 miles, really about 6 miles, and the wind was strong coming back, and one of the big ships went by, and we were soaking wet. It came over the little pointy part of the kayak, and we were sitting in water.
Oh boy.
But we did not turn over.
Well, that's good.
And finally, the poor little soul, the young man that took us, had to hook himself to our canoe and
Pull you back?
paddle for both of us while we paddled too.
Well, we're glad you got back at least in time for dinner.
Yeah. But we won't do
Okay.
that again.
We'll see you there.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
But you did.
Okay, now look who were the big winners.
It was him,
And-
not me.
And let's see now, how much did you win? What does that check say? Oh yes, did you know that's in Hong Kong dollars?
Yeah.
And you, wonderful. So how are you going to spend it?
Pay our bill on the
There goes, right, there goes the...
not going to be in the slots.
Yeah, exactly right. Don't let them talk you into it. Well, that is neat. Well, that is wonderful. We're so glad. Okay, bye-bye.
Nice meeting you. Right up. Win that big time.
Okay, get the big one then.
Look who's back at it.
There it goes. I can feel it coming. Well, it'll hit when we turn the camera off.
That's all my
Congratulations again to our bingo winners. This is the shop area. Had some beautiful yard row, and Joe and Anna bought several nice pieces. And then it was off to our room, and we put our bags out in the hall because next morning we would be arriving in Honolulu. And there's our chocolate on our pillow. And here it is, Friday, December 11th, and we're now just coming into the Honolulu Harbor. You can recognize that. That's Diamond Head. Oh, it's about 5 minutes before 7 a.m. Not too much activity out here on the harbor. Hey, we waved at him too. Some of the boats there in the complex. This is the shipyards right across the way from where we will be docking. Good morning down there. Good morning. How are you? Well, if you didn't pick up on what the captain said to the pilot, he said, "It never rains in Hawaii," and it was at that time. Well, the Aloha Tower says it's just about 7 o'clock, 5 minutes to, and we were due in at Pier 10 at 7 a.m., so they're really running a good on-time cruise. Now here's a ship it's getting ready to leave. You can see the tugs there. Somebody on their way home. Hey, I think I hear something up ahead. So let's listen. You can see there's a little wetness in the air there. Well, as our cruise comes to an end and we each depart for home, Lois and I want to again thank each of you for your significant part in making our cruise so enjoyable. And it's our sincere wish for a very happy and prosperous New Year's to each of you and your families. And until we meet again, may God richly bless your lives.